Namaste, Adab, Sat Sri Akal. This is CS Uncle Khan here, and I welcome each one of you in this amazing session on case studies series. So, all of us have been a part of series, as in we've watched series on Netflix, Amazon Prime, especially in lockdown, Special Ops, Money Heist, etc., etc., etc. Now, Professor is bringing in front of you a case study series, and here we are with episode number 2. And today's questions are on just in time and life cycle cost. Question 15 and 16. So, are we ready? Then let's get started. Oh, so keep paying attention, guys. Let's control all of this with positivity. Good questions added by ICAI, and we are all set to manage them. Any which case, for new syllabus, we always wanted that, sir, bring on new questions. Sir, naya question chahiye. Sir, we want to do more things. Here you are. Now let's face it. And we will do it with always a smiling face, right? That's what I have always learned in life. Come what may, you have to manage situations. Now, two ways: either smile and face it, or frown and face it. I believe in the first part, smile and face it. And let's do the best. Chalo guys, time to start with the session. Okay, so अब अपन स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं JIT वाले क्वेश्चन के साथ. एंड ये क्वेश्चन का नाम है IEL. If I'm not wrong, it is IEL. फुल फॉर्म इज इम्पैक्ट्स इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लिमिटेड. क्या बोला रे भाई? IEL, जिसको प्यार से अपन बोलेंगे, या रादर सर प्यार से IEL है, एंड इसका नाम है इम्पैक्ट्स इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लिमिटेड. अगर आपने मेरे प्री कोविड वाले कुछ वीडियोस देखे होंगे ना, या प्री कोविड नहीं, ड्यूरिंग कोविड वाले वीडियोस मेरे कुछ देखे होंगे ना यूट्यूब पे, तो मैंने हमेशा कहा था कि आफ्टर कोविड द यूसेज ऑफ जस्ट इन टाइम as a concept will be used throughout the world, obviously including India. This is a concept originated in Japan, widely used, extensively used in Japan, and now trust me, every other country will start using it, because that is where we realize that unwanted stocks, overproduction, overprocessing, which is not done in JIT, is not required. Because if you are storing unwanted excessive stocks, then in that case what will happen? It will consume your storage space, it will consume your working capital, because your working capital gets blocked when you are ordering for more. So all of that then will become a issue if the demand gets stagnant, or if the demand doesn't pick up as expected. So that is where JIT, what does JIT says? Produce when the demand is there. So works on the pull basis. So push basis will take a back foot, and pull basis system, which we are actually studying in our costing, will take a front foot. All right, so on that note, let us start with this question on just in time. Impacts Electronics Limited, a very nice question. This question will talk about two things. One, oh, just a moment. Yeah, so this question will speak about two things. One, it will speak that how just in time is a better policy than the current systems which we are using. And secondly, here we will encounter a concept of EOQ, economic order quantity, something that you studied in your CA intermediate costing. Do you remember? So let's start the journey of this question, and we will take on in the interim various concepts to be learned through this. So I'm reading the question, pay attention. Always remember, if you have 10 minutes to solve a question, at least 5 to 6 minutes should be devoted on its reading and understanding. Trust me, in the remaining 4 minutes, you will be able to manage solving the whole question. We do it we do it vice versa. We spend more time in solving and less time in thinking. Less time in reading, less time in thinking of what the question actually says. It should not be that way. See, now you are in CA final, and in CA final we are now very clear that institute will ask us case based questions. So in that scenario you have to understand what is the business scenario going on, and then you will have to apply your mind. Then solving part, trust me, is much more easier. So give good time in reading the question always. Once you have read the question, start imagining that okay, you are the owner, the CEO of the company. Now what are the things that you are going to apply? And that's how the whole system should proceed. Righty? Okay, so on that note, let's start with the reading of the question. Impex Electronics Limited, IEL, is manufacturing wide varieties of torches operated on power batteries specially designed for trekking and travelers apart from domestic use. Have you ever gone for trekking? Yes, I'm sure you would have, especially at your age. This is the time to do all of these things. So, especially during the monsoons, this is the best time to go for trekking, right? So that is where we use torches. If we are planning to trek in an evening time, then we would require torches. This is what IEL is in the manufacturing of. Continuing, for which they purchase bulbs from Glow Light Bulbs. So IX purchases bulbs from GLB, mostly G3 1M screw 7.5 volt bulb. So, when you have to step into the business part of the question, that is where these technical things are equally important. So what is the name of the bulb? G3 1M screw 7.5 V bulb is used in torches. Due to lockdown and outbreak of COVID, the demand of torch falls significantly and factories allowed to work at 1/3 of capacity. So finally you have a question which speaks of what businesses will now use after the outbreak of COVID. So here is a case where after lockdown, all of us know how things have gone down for a lot of businesses. So here also they are just saying that the factories are allowed to work only on 1/3 of the capacity. Considering the same production department slows down the production, causing a huge piled up inventory of raw material. Oh gosh. Now, just at the start of the lecture, what did I tell you? I told you that raw material, if you have purchased in excess and there is a muted demand, what is muted demand? Or when there is a fall in demand, then in that case it will become very difficult to use or dispose of that raw material, which is what a lot of companies face who did not use the concept of just in time. Hence, to attain cost effectiveness, finally IEL decided to move from traditional system to just-in-time system in a phased manner. There are two major departments operating in IEL: purchase department and production department. In the first phase, purchase department is considering the adoption of JIT purchasing. Okay, what is JIT purchasing? So there are two departments, purchasing and production. Obviously both have to follow JIT. So even purchasing team will follow JIT, production team will follow JIT. So purchase will be done only when the order is received. That is when we will immediately call our supplier, ask him to send the raw material supplies. The annual demand for G3 1M screw 7.5 bulb, we will just use the word bulb, is 24,000 units at IEL. Okay. Presently, the purchase price is rupees 80 per bulb. Currently, the annual demand is ordered in 24 orders of equal size, and the cost of placing an order is rupees 10, which is expected to remain the same in JIT regime 2. So now we have two regimes. One, if you go by the normal production system, and the other is if you use JIT. So they will give you information. Now it's very important for us as chartered accountants to understand the data and to be aware of what each speaks of. So here they are saying that in all, the annual demand of the bulb that we are producing is 24,000 units. Presently, the purchase price is rupees 80 per bulb. Currently, the annual demand is ordered in 24 orders of equal size. So what does that mean? So 24 orders, all of equal size. Total we need 24,000 units, correct? So I think it is a clear cut indication. So 24,000 units we need, correct? Divide by 24 orders, all of equal size, 1,000 units per order. Ha! Okay, continuing. Currently, the annual demand is 24 orders of equal size and the cost of placing an order is rupees 10. Correct? That is your ordering cost. So, can I say 24,000 units is your AD, annual demand? Do you remember all of this? Yeah, you used to study in your CA intermediate costing, material costing, right? This is annual demand. See, when you are in CA final, it is presumed that obviously you have cleared everything and you remember everything. So any concept that you studied previously by default will be used to test you. All right. Okay. What is 80 per bulb? That is your purchase cost. That is your purchase cost. Currently, the annual demand is 24 orders of equal size and the cost of placing is rupees 10. What is this 10? Can I say this is your ordering cost? This is your ordering cost. So, purchase cost is there, annual demand is there, ordering cost is there. At the same time, number of orders per order is 1,000. So we will write that also. Your number of orders per order, number of orders, number of units per order, number of units per order is equal to 1,000 units. Don't worry, we will write it properly in our main answer, but just with the flow, whatever we are understanding, we just taking it through. Continuing. Material handling, insurance and other carrying cost is rupees. Very, very important. Now all of this material handling and everything comes with a cost. If you remember something called as a carrying cost, this is what it signifies. So what is it? There is a material handling cost of rupees 2. There is an insurance of rupees 1. There are other carrying costs of rupees 1.5 respectively per unit per annum. Cool. Under JIT system, price expected to increase to rupees 80.05. Okay. GLB is a reputed company for the quality of its products and timely delivery. Nice. As a result of frequent orders, the number of orders increased to 120 under JIT regime and the order size decreases proportionately. All right. Material handling cost. Now what is this 120? A number of orders which was 24 in the first scenario has now increased to 125 times more, because in just in time we will not order based on a push demand, we will order based on a pull demand. What does that mean? Which means that only order when you received a demand and then we have to execute it immediately. So obviously if that is the case, then in that case the number of orders is going to increase 120 in the current scenario. Don't worry, what we will do is we will make a summary in my style and then we will approach the question. Trust me, things will become much more smoother. Let's continue reading the question, guys. Material handling cost is expected to reduce to rupees 1.2, whereas other carrying costs will reduce by 0.5 and insurance costs will remain at the same level. Lower inventory will cause a stock out of rupees 5 of 0.25% of annual demand. Do you know the concept of stock out? I'll tell you. Now what happens in JIT is, sir, we will produce when the demand is received. Now in few cases, the demand that you receive may be a very high demand and you may not have the resources to fulfill the demand in the required time. Now, in such cases, you may have to forego some of the demand, and that basically is called as a stock out. Obviously, the company is losing out on that part of the demand because you don't have anything made in advance. And if that is the case, then we will lose out on a specific contribution or profit, and that is what my stock out is. Do you understand what is a stock out? So suppose I get an order of 10,000 units and I have a capacity to produce only 9,500 units in just in time on an immediate basis. Now I don't have a 500 buffer because there is no concept of buffer in just in time. So 500 units I will not be able to fulfill. So if I am not able to fulfill those 500 units, I am losing out on a profit, on a contribution for those 500 units. That is called as a stock out cost. That is called as a stock out cost. So income that I am losing on account of a stock out is called as a stock out cost. And when is there a stock out? In situations where a higher demand may come to us and we may not have the resources to fulfill them in the way we want to. All right. Okay. Continuing. Material handling cost is expected to reduce to 1.2, whereas other carrying cost will reduce by rupees 0.5, and insurance cost remain at the same level. Lower inventory level will cause a stock out of rupees 5 per unit on 0.25% of annual demand. Now it's a beautiful question. We will have to ensure that we make a proper summary, otherwise we will get lost in the numbers. We already are. So it will be very important for us to make a proper summary, current regime, JIT regime, and then how we can tackle it is what we will see. Now, an important point to note here, they have said that the required rate of return is 16%. See, now if you are not using just in time, that means you are ordering in excess of what is required currently. So if that is the case, then you are blocking your working capital on which you could have earned 16%. So that becomes an opportunity cost, right? So all of that will be considered. Let's move on. Required. Is the JIT process different for purchase and production department? State the reason to support your opinion. Second, state any 3 areas in which JIT purchasing may reduce cost significantly to bring the cost efficiency, definitely. And last, comment whether purchase department of IL should move to JIT purchasing, presuming the same annual demand. Presuming the same annual demand. So now this is the first A and B, can I say, are your non-financial opinions, whereas this is your financial opinion, correct? So let's use that word. What are the first A and B? They are our non-financial opinions, that what all things are there, and this is purely a financial opinion. Now sir, so much data is there. How do we analyze? Now before we start with the analysis part, before I start with my summary, I will want you to please read the question once. Take 2 minutes, read the question, and then we will start. Please ensure to read the question thoroughly at least 2 to 3 times before you start with your solutions. Please do that. Okay then, so probably you can just pause the video if not read it as yet, but we will start with our solution. So now there are 2 aspects here, as I told you. One is the financial opinion, another is the non-financial opinion. Obviously, being chartered accountants, numbers is something very close to us. So we will first solve the second part. That's okay, absolutely okay, no worries with that. So first we will solve the second part, that whether financially it is better to go ahead with JIT or financially it is better to go ahead with the existing scenario. Alright, so now before we start the solution part, let's write down all the information that is given. always have the habit to make a summary of the question. See, usually students have a doubt that, sir, in costing, I'm not able to click where the question is from, or I'm not able to start where the question is from. The answer is pretty straightforward and clear. As soon as you start reading the question, start making a summary of all the points that the question is saying. Do not apply your mind, baba. Just use the numbers which is given in the question and write it down on the paper, and automatically then things will click. There will not be any god light which is going to come. It is reading of the question, writing down what is given, understanding it in your own words, and then probably solving it with your concepts. That's how the approach is to be followed, right? So here we will say that we have two situations. One is current scenario and the other is JIT system, correct? One is the current scenario, other is the JIT system. So I will write here that first we will look at the current scenario and then we will look at the JIT system. So we will make a numerical summary for them. Then we will solve that which is feasible for us, and then probably we'll be in a better position to take a decision. Sir, whether this summary is to be made in rough or in fair, my answer is it should be made in fair. Why so? Because this is also going to fetch you marks. See, in exams, there is a high probability that out of 5-6 calculations, suppose now we will make a whole financial calculation thing comparing current scenario and JIT, there is a chance that one of them may be wrong. So does it mean that you will get the whole sum wrong? No. The examiner will watch out how you presented your working notes, how you made the summary, whether you are able to interpret the question properly or not. All of these things make a big difference. Chalo, anyways, let's start with the current scenario. So what does the current scenario say? Current scenario says that the annual demand, first is the annual demand, and the annual demand is 24,000 units. See, this is the annual demand of the raw material used to produce the finished good. Okay, the annual demand is of the raw material. A lot of students get confused here, so I hope I am very much clear. The annual demand that we are speaking of is for the raw material. Annual demand is of raw material. How much is that? Sir, it is of 24,000 units. Whether you take JIT or current scenario or any scenario, what is the usage of raw material in the finished good is never going to change, irrespective of what strategy you are adopting, right? Okay, continuing. So first is that. Second, so annual demand for G3 1M screw 7.5V bulb that we are going to purchase from which company? From this GLB company is 24,000 units. Presently the price is 80 per bulb. So in the current scenario, we will write down what is the purchase price. Now see the magic of the summary. You will see the magic of the summary. Purchase price, just wait for 5 minutes and you'll get it, is rupees 80 here. If you read the question properly, in JIT it is 80.05. If you read the question properly, you will realize in JIT the price is expected to increase to rupees 80.05. 80.05 per unit. Samjhi? Yes? Okay, continuing. So all that we are doing, we can just put a tick mark so that we are clear that okay, this thing is taken care of, 80 is taken care of, 80.05 is taken care of. Got it? Okay. Currently the annual demand is ordered in 24 orders of equal size. Okay. So for every order, how many units we are going to get? We are going to get 1000 raw material units per order. So we will say here that third, number of times ordered is how much? 24, and per order quantity, which is called as the order size, is how much? 1000 units. So we will write here ordering number of orders is 24. Number of orders is equal to 24, and order size. See, if you are in IPCC, ideally you would need a formula to make you understand this order size, that it is annual demand. It is annual demand divided by number of orders. But you are chartered. You are almost chartered. So how does it feel to be called chartered? Yes, a feeling of pride. So annual demand we will say is 24,000. We are ordering it 24 times. So order size is equal to 1,000 raw material. Order size is 1,000 raw material. Subjugadu. Okay. Chalo. So this is done. The cost of placing an order is 10, which is expected to remain same in JIT. So can I say that is the fifth point, which is ordering cost. That is my fifth point, which is ordering cost equal to rupees 10. And they've clearly said is going to remain same in JIT. So here also ordering cost. Here also ordering cost is rupees 10 per unit. Okay, continue. So let's put a tick here. Okay. Material handling, insurance and other carrying cost per unit per annum is given. We will write it on the next page. So current scenario and your JIT. So point number 6, 7 and 8. Okay, how much is this? So material handling, so we will write here, one is material handling, the other is insurance and other carrying costs. So insurance is there. What is there? Insurance is there, and other carrying cost. Other carrying cost is there. Alrighty. Okay. So what is the material handling cost which is there? Can I say it is 2? It is rupees 2. Can I say insurance is rupees 1? And other carrying cost is rupees 1.5. Alright. Now let's switch to JIT. So annual demand will remain to be same, which is 24,000 units. Rupees 80.05 here. Number of orders is 120 orders. 120 orders. Order size will become 24,000 divided by 120 equal to how much? So 24,000 divided by 120 equal to 200 raw material per order. So every time an order comes, 200 raw material come in JIT, and every time an order come, 1000 raw material come in the current scenario. Gotcha? Okay, ordering cost is given. Let's see the other things. So 120 tick mark. Material handling cost is expected to reduce to rupees 1.2. So from to 1.2. Other carrying cost will reduce by 0.5. By 0.5. They're very smart. ICAI is very smart. So one place they've written 2, reduce to 1.2. The other place they've written reduce by 0.5. And then we have insurance cost will remain same, which is rupees 1. Okay. Lower inventory level will cause a stock out of rupees 0 or rupees 5 per unit on 0.25% of annual demand. So your last point, stock out will not happen in the current scenario, because in the current scenario we don't order at the last moment like in JIT. So here the stock out will happen where at a JIT situation, how much? Rupees 5 is the stock out cost, SOC, right? And how much? What is the quantity of stock out? It is 0.25% of annual demand. So this will be equal to how much? 24,000 into 0.25% equal to rupees 60. Got it, everybody? Got it? So that will be the 60 units. Okay, my bad. 60 units. So 24,000 units into 0.25%, which is 60 units. Hey, samjugadu. Are we clear, everybody? Now look at the question from the eyes of the summary. Now look at the question from the eyes of the summary, and this looks so much sorted, isn't it? Now suppose if you've not made this summary and you directly start with your solution, you'll get lost in so many numbers which are there, and even in one small mistake and the whole sum will go for a toss. Why to do that? Instead, read the question properly, make a summary, have the habit of making a summary, and this summary you can clearly see is a fair summary. So I have gone with the flow. Have I applied any mind? No. What I have done is just what is written in the question, written it more systematically. Summary is nothing but removing unwanted things, making the whole sum leaner. Summary is making the sum leaner. So that's what we've done here. Current scenario, all the information given, just in time, all the information given, and here we are. Woohoo! Right? So now take 2 minutes. Now have this habit forever. Now if you've been my student, if you're following my YouTube or my pen drive, Google Drive, live lectures, wherever you've been connected with me, you would know that how important it is for us to start with a summary and then solve the question. Right? Okay. Chalo, giving you all 2 minutes so that you can start with this. Come on. Read. Just make this quickly and then we'll move forward. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with the financial analysis of which option is better. All right, so statement of financial analysis statement of financial analysis between current scenario and JIT. Correct? Current scenario and JIT. Okay. We will write here particulars. Then we will write here the current scenario. And we will write here just in time policy. Just in time policy. Done? Chalo, let's start. Okay, so first is the purchase price. First is the purchase price. So what is the purchase price here? See, we will just go step by step. So annual demand is 24,000 and purchase price, there is a difference. So we will write here the first comparison is going to be of the purchase price. So here we write down purchase price. Tell me what is the purchase price? In the current scenario, it is 24,000 units at the rate rupees 80. Whereas in JIT, it is 24,000 units at the rate rupees 80.05. Alright. So, how much does this work out to? Tell me. So, 24,000 into 80. So, it is 19,20,000. And 24,000 into 80.05 works out to 19,21,200. Alright. Alrighty. Second. So first was this. Are we clear with this? Very simple and straightforward. Done, sir. Okay. Let's move on to the second part. So what is the second part here? Let's come to the summary. See, now the summary should be so good that your summary in itself should be an indicator. Your summary in itself should be an indicator of what you would want to do next. So my purchase price is taken care of. Second is my number of orders. And number of orders comes with the ordering cost. So my second cost will be ordering cost. What is the ordering cost? So can I say it is number of orders into ordering cost per order Okay, how much does this work out to? How many number of orders are there? 24 multiplied by 10. And there is 120 multiplied by 10. So 240 and 1200. 240 and 1200. Hey, samjhgado. Cool? Are we clear? Sure. Done. So here we have the ordering cost, number of orders into ordering cost per unit. So which is 240 and 1200. Gotcha? Yes? Sure. Moving on. Next, what can you see here? So, odd number of orders is taken care of. Ordering cost is taken care of. Now comes the order size. And then there is this carrying cost. So, two things here. Order size and carrying cost. Now this is where usually students take a back foot. Why? Because sir, we don't remember how to calculate the carrying cost. So if you all remember the formula of EOQ by any chance, right, that is through which we derive the whole concept. So 2 into annual demand, you remember, into carrying cost, into ordering cost divided by carrying cost per unit per annum. That is where the whole carrying cost formula is to be taken care of. So third that we are going to write down is carrying cost. Alright. So what is the formula for carrying cost? Do you remember? I don't think so. You do. I'll help you out. Order size. It will be order size. Do you remember? See, so let's try to find out. So what's the formula for EOQ? 2 into annual demand into ordering cost divide by carrying cost per unit per annum. Do you remember this? Correct. So now this is where we split the formula. This is where if you split the formula, you will get two formula. So ideally what has happened is EOQ is a balance between ordering cost and carrying cost. At least this much knowledge you should have. EOQ is a balance between ordering cost. EOQ is a balance between ordering cost and carrying cost. Carrying cost, correct everyone? So, what is the formula for ordering cost? Number of orders into ordering cost per order. Ordering cost per order. And what is the formula for carrying cost? So we will say that order size, it is order size divide by 2. Why divide by 2? Because the whole orders are split into opening stock, closing stock, and the consumption that happens. So now obviously assuming that there is a uniform consumption, so order size divide by 2, that's how the consumption occurs. So see, if I get 1000 units, correct, now obviously it will be split between various stages. So what is the presumption here? That it is divided by 2 at a uniform level. Now if you want to go in more detail of the derivation, watch out my YouTube video of CA Intern, wherein I have explained the logic behind the formulas. You can watch that also for your knowledge if you want, if you've not studied intermediate from me. All right, and if you know this, nothing like it. So into order size into purchasing cost per unit into carrying cost per unit per annum. Subjugado. So here we are done with the ordering cost. Now we will write down the carrying cost. So what is the carrying cost? Order size. What is the carrying cost? Order size divide by 2. Just a moment. Carrying cost is equal to order size divide by 2 into purchase cost per unit into carrying cost per unit per annum. So how do you calculate this? See here. What is the order size in the first scenario? What is the order size? It is 1000 units. Macha, look here. It is, what is the order size? Can I say it is 1000 units? So at a time 1000 units are coming. Correct? So 1000 units divide by 2 into what is the purchase cost per unit? Can I say it is 80 into carrying cost per unit per annum? So can I say the required rate of return is given to be 16%. So into 16%. Are we clear everybody? Yes or no? So what will this work out to? So 1000 divided by 2 into 80 into 16%. This will be 6400. And for my JIT, the order size is 200. So 200 per 2 into 80 into 16%. So this will work out to, so because less units are coming, less capital is blocked, hence less carrying cost is incurred in JIT. Pretty logical. So 200 divided by 2 into 80 into 16%. This will work out to 1280. How much? 1280. Hey, samjigadu. So this was your carrying cost. Done. Okay. Next is what? Next is your this is done. Carrying cost. Okay. Material, insurance, and other carrying costs. So can I say these three are also to be combined to form a carrying cost? So we will write down fourth. We will give the heading other carrying costs. we will give the heading other carrying costs. Correct? Now, what is the carrying cost here in this scenario? Can I say it is 2 plus 1 plus 1.5? So what will be the carrying cost here? The carrying cost will be order size, same, divide by 2 into carrying cost per unit, which is already given here. Carrying cost per unit is 2 plus 1 plus 1.5, which is already with us. So this will be 1000 divided by 2 into 4.5 equal to 2250. Equal to 2250. And in JIT scenario, it will be 200 divided by 2 into, this has now reduced to, can I say 3.2? So this will be 3.2. 100 into 3.2 is how much? Sorry. Can I say it is 320? Sanjigadu. So 2250 and 320. Anything else? Anything else? Let's see here. Stock out cost. Stock out cost is also there. So let's see the stock out cost. Let's write down stock out, which we have already calculated in our summary itself. We have already calculated it in our summary. That total 24,000 units is the demand. Into 0.25% is going to be the stock out, which is 60 units. Per stock out, we are losing 5 rupees, which is 30. We can just give a reference that you can refer our working note. This is nothing but a working note. So you can refer that. So it is 30. So chalo now, time now to do the calculations. So let's write down what is the total cost in each of the scenario. Before that, we can just go through the question to ensure that we have not missed out anything. See, ideally our summary contains everything, so we shouldn't have missed out, but still it's always good to be double sure that we have not missed out anything. And as per what I can see here, we have included everything. Let's do the final calculation. So 19 lakh 20,000 plus 240 plus 6400 plus 2250 is 19 lakh 28,890, and 19 lakh 21,200 plus 1200 plus 1280 plus 320 plus 30, 19 lakh 24,030, and woo! Just in time is the winner. We will go ahead with just in time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yes. So how much is the savings? 19 lakh 24,030 less 19 lakh 28,890. 4860 is what we will save. 4860. See, this is the feeling that you need to get when you get to the right answer and when your suggestion is accepted. So now client who was following the current scenario will now shift to just in time. And we are happy that we have helped our client to attain a cost benefit of rupees 4860. So what will be our recommendation? What will be our recommendation? We will say that from financial perspective, we will say that from financial perspective, it is better to shift to JIT, shift to just-in-time policy, as it results in a saving of rupees 4860. Samjhigudu, it is 4860. How did you get this 4860? Always show the examiner how you are getting your numbers. See, check out. Everywhere I have written the calculations. Everywhere I have written the calculations. And this is what I do subconsciously. Always have the habit of writing what you've calculated in your calculator. Have the habit of writing it in the bracket. You know why? Suppose, for example, instead of writing 6,400 here, I write 640. But my formula is correct. My formula is correct. My formula is correct. My numbers that I have written here are correct. The examiner will take a note of it and will realize that it's just a error which may have happened. But logically, this person has all the senses of being a chartered accountant. You will get the marks. But directly, if you write 640, do not write the formula, do not write the calculation in the bracket, then how will the examiner give you marks? Never. So these small things make a big difference. Take care when you are solving sums. All right. Chalo. So write it down. 1928890, 1928890 less 1924030. Okay, so okie dokie. With this, we complete the second part of the question. First part, which has two bifurcations, is still pending. But I know you are eager to write this down. All yours, everybody, all yours. Come on, quickly, everyone. Just write it. Or you can even pause the video. First write it down and then move on. Okay, so done. Just a small calculation error. This will become 300. So see here, we have written it correctly in our this. So 60 units into 5. See now, this is what should be taken care of. Now I have not written a calculation only for this thing and it turns out that way. Anyways, no problems. So we will write this as 1924. This will be 1924 300, right? So it will become 1924 300. Doesn't matter. Still, who is better? Just in time is better. Okay, so not to worry, just a silly calculation error. Okay, 1924 300 less 1928890 and 4590 is what we will save. Okay, my bad. That I did 60 into 5, I wrote 30 instead of 300. Chalo, no problems. With this, we complete the first part. I hope we are done thoroughly. And now let's move on to the theoretical aspect. So what is that? See here. Done? Okay. Now the next part. Is the JIT process different for purchase and production department? State the reason to support your opinion. Is it different for purchase or production department? I told you at the beginning only that now suppose if such type of question comes, 1A is what you have to write. First thing that you have to do by default is define what is JIT. You have to tell them that the JIT is a pull system wherein we try to wherein we try to produce the goods as and when the demand occurs, right? And so that we are able to save a lot of costs, and at the same time it helps to deliver the customer as it is required. So first thing that you have to do is define JIT. Then they've asked that is it different for the purchase department and the production department? See, if you ask me, I'll say it is not different. Purchase department will purchase raw material when demand occurs. So what will happen is when the demand comes, the production team will create a purchase order because they have to purchase. They have to start with the production. So if they have to start with the production, they will need raw materials. For the raw materials, they will tell the purchase department. Now, purchase department has two options. Keep it ready in stock from a previous overbuying, or order from the supplier when they get an order from the production department. So when the production department tells them, at that point in time, the purchase department purchases the raw material. That is a JIT used by purchase team. And for the production team, we will say that when the demand occurs, or when the sales team tells them that, okay, we have a confirmed sales order, and then the production team starts the production, that is where we will use the production team uses the JIT at production level. So not much of a difference here for me, right? So we'll just read the solution by ICI. JIT is the management philosophy. See what they are doing. They are first explaining what is JIT. Always have this habit. All the major definitions should be ready with you. So for example, there's a question now on Kaizen costing. So what is Kaizen costing? 3 lines should be ready with you. Irrespective of whatever question comes on Kaizen, we have to present it. So is the case here. JIT, a question has come. Let's write down 3 lines on JIT. JIT is the management philosophy based on demand pull system. Very important to use this language. Demand pull system. Rather than supply push throughout the plant in order to reduce cost with a single piece flow after considering the tuck time. So there is a question on tuck time. We will do that as well, so that things are clear in those regards. JIT process is different for purchase and production due to inherent nature of function they render, despite the purpose of both is to declutter store or assembly line at production floor and reduce the cost. JIT, if applied by purchase department, known as JIT purchasing, which meant material should be only purchased when required for production. So what did I say you? That this purchase department will wait for the production department. Production department says that, okay, we are starting with the production. Give us this much raw material. That is when the purchase department will immediately inform through EDI, electronic data interchange, to the supplier. Supplier will immediately put at the shop floor. Production will begin. And production team will start when the sales team confirms them. Whereas if JIT applied by the production department, it will be termed as JIT production and meant that finished goods should only be produced as needed to meet the actual customer demand. And who takes care of the actual customer demand? Tell me, bolo bolo, tell. Correct. It is the sales team. Woo. So that is the first part, A part of the first part. And the B part is state 3 areas in which JIT purchasing may reduce cost significantly to bring the cost efficiency. So again, this is also a very common question that can be expected. So how does JIT reduces costs? How does JIT reduces cost? You tell me. How will JIT reduce cost? Can I say first is because JIT orders limited quantities, my working capital does not get blocked, and as a result of this, the interest on working capital is saved. correct? Otherwise my working capital requirement will go up, and as a result the interest will go. I'll give you a classic example which is just happening in my case. I had some surplus funds. Genuinely, I swear on you, this is a true case which I am undergoing. I had some surplus funds. One of my friend's friend needs some working capital requirement. He is into the manufacturing of lifts. He is into manufacturing of lifts, elevators. So he is into manufacturing of elevators. So he says that for making an elevator, we need a lot of materials. So we purchase materials from the suppliers. Then we execute the order. This in all takes around 60 days. Now, if I have taken something from the supplier, I will have to pay credit. I have to pay him the money. So my friend's friend has said that I don't want to delay the payment to that supplier because it will build a good reputation in the market, and at the same time the money that I'm going to get from the customer will take some time. So because of this gap, there is a working capital issue which he is facing. My friend's friend approached me. I told him, okay, I have some surplus money, I will give it to you, and on that he is paying me interest. Are you understanding? So if we are going with just in time, then everything will be as is basis. So my interest on working capital is saved. Got it? Second point is, can I say storage cost is reduced? See, I will require storage only when I am going to order raw material in excess. But here though, my supplier is going to put the raw material on the production floor. No storage cost required at all. Are you understanding? So can I say reduction in storage cost will also be one of the ways to reduce my JIT cost? So reduction in storage cost. And third will be, can I say my wastage and scrap will reduce? Third will be reduction in wastage and scrap. Reduction in wastage and scrap. So if there is a reduction in wastage and scrap, how will that happen? Because I will order only that much is required. I will immediately get the delivery. When I am getting the delivery, at that point in time only I will check out whether there is any defective raw material or not. If it is, I will send it back. If not, then I'll start with my production. So there will not be any wastage. Second, scrap will not happen because, as I said, the inflow of raw material that I'm going to get is in which case going to be of a perfect quality. So that way, three savings in cost through JIT, if you ask me, it is interest on working capital is saved, reduction in storage cost, and reduction in wastage or scrap. Woo! Are we clear? And with this, we complete this whole question of your IEL. Let's see institute solution and wrap up this question. So just in time, I think the first part we are done. Yes, here what are the savings? Interest of working capital, as I gave you the example, reduction in storage cost, material is purchased as and when required, so wastage and scrap will be less. They said one more thing, since JIT purchasing reduce the inventory level of raw material, hence sorting, which is first S, becomes easy, and motion also get reduced, which reduces labor and overhead cost. Very thoughtful ICI. Good point. I didn't think of that as one of the points. So 5S sorting is done immediately because the supplier will put as it is required on the production floor. So overall labor and overhead cost is reduced. Their time, unwanted time gets cut off. So that helps, right? And here the chart of cost comparison, which we've already done, 4589, economically viable as it results into a saving. The working note that they have drawn is the summary that we have used. So this is done from our end. Summary also we have done already. Oh, looks good. Okay, so with this we complete this question. I hope it is exclusively clear to each one of you that how you calculated and how we've solved the theory part as well. Thank you so much. We can now move on to the next questioner. Okay then, so let's start with the next question. So अब जो question है वो basically एक question है on life cycle cost. On life cycle cost. So कैसा है देखो, अपन लोग सब लोग कुछ ना कुछ खरीदते हैं. वैसे ही जो ये कंपनीज होती है ये मशीनरीज खरीदती है मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए, करेक्ट है. सो यहां पे अपने पास है एक कंपनी जिसका नाम है रॉयल बेकर्स, और रॉयल बेकर्स अपने पास आई है और कंफ्यूज्ड है. वो बोल रही है मिस्टर संकल, हम कंफ्यूज्ड है कि हम ऑटोमेटिक मशीन ले या सेमी ऑटोमेटिक मशीन ले. मैंने बोला भाई बनाना क्या चाहते हो? उन्होंने बोला कि हम केक्स बनाना चाहते हैं, पर केक्स बनाने के लिए हम फाइनेंशियली इवेल्युएट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं कि हमको ऑटोमेटिक मशीन लेनी चाहिए या सेमी ऑटोमेटिक मशीन लेनी चाहिए. तो वो मेरे पास आए हैं क्योंकि मैं हूं उनका मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटेंट. सो एज अ मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटेंट मैं उनको गाइड करना चाहता हूं कि भाई तुमको कौन सा मशीनरी खरीदना चाहिए. तो ऑब्वियसली उसमें भी दोनों चीजें होती है, एक होता है फाइनेंशियल, दूसरा होता है नॉन फाइनेंशियल. एक होता है फाइनेंशियल पर्सपेक्टिव, दूसरा होता है नॉन फाइनेंशियल पर्सपेक्टिव. तो इन दोनों को तराजू में रख के प्रॉपर तरीके से तोलते हुए मैं अपनी कंपनी रॉयल बेकर्स को बताऊंगा कि आपको कौन सा मशीनरी खरीदना चाहिए. तो यहां पे अपने पास कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन है कि सर अगर हम फुल्ली ऑटोमेटिक मशीन लेते हैं तो ओवरऑल कितना खर्चा होगा अपना, और अगर अपन सेमी ऑटोमेटिक मशीन लेते हैं तो ओवरऑल कितना खर्चा होगा. एंड उन दोनों को फाइनेंशियल बेसिस पे एक तो इवैल्यूएट करेंगे और फिर नॉन फाइनेंशियल दिमाग भी लगाएंगे, एंड देन फाइनली वी विल डिसाइड व्हिच वन वी हैव टू चूज. तो क्या आप लोग को इस क्वेश्चन का जिस्ट समझ में आ गया है? तो चलिए फिर शुभ काम में देरी किस बात की. सो रॉयल बेकर्स से रिलेटेड है ये क्वेश्चन. अब अपने को इनको इवैल्यूएट करके देना है कि ये लेंगे मशीन ऑटोमेटिक या लेंगे सेमी ऑटोमेटिक. दो कंसीडरेशंस है अपने पास, फाइनेंशियल नॉन फाइनेंशियल. चलो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड अगेन. सो रॉयल बेकर्स is famous for cakes and cookies. जी ललचाए रहा न जाए रे रे. मिस्टर दास बाबू केमन आछे? भालो आछे. Okay, so Mr. Das, the owner at Royal Bakers, is interested in offering affordable products to their customers. Hence keen to capture the small scope of cost effectiveness. Royal Bakers is located in the center of the city where space has a huge cost, and Royal Baker is running out of space during peak hours, causing a loss of scales. Oh gosh. So here what is happening is that Royal Bakers is in the center of the city, which is good because for retail customers location is very important. And Royal Baker is running out of space during peak hours, causing loss of sale. Gosh. Most of the customers are regular to Royal Bakers. Royal Baker is known for fast service. Mr. Das wishes to be true to the tagline. Wow, what a tagline. Close your eyes to wish and open them to find it cooked for you. I wish for a Nutella fruit mixed black currant cake. Wow, Mr. Das, thank you so much for giving it to me. Okay, so next is the hurdle rate is 12%. This is the discounting rate. Non-availability of skilled worker and high attrition of worker, including the chef, is the cause of worry for Mr. Das. This is a real worry. The workers, for hotel management, this is the biggest issue, right? So for hotels, for restaurants, for hotel management people, availability of skilled worker is very important, especially the head chef. In order to retain worker, Royal Baker is paying a higher salary than industry standards. You have to pay at times higher salary to the people who are very much important to your business, to the employees who are very much important to your business. The raw material is easily available as and when it is required. Royal Bakers is considering two different models of baking oven machine to replace its old oven. the baking capacity of both machines are same and both will occupy a similar amount of space. Both will occupy a similar amount of space. So this is the main thing that we need to evaluate here. Royal Bakers is considering two different models of baking oven machine to replace its old oven. The baking capacity of both machines are same and both will occupy the same amount of space. So here, what is it that we have to take a call on? Royal Bakers has approached us, the management accountants, and we have to tell them which is going to be the best machine, semi-automatic or fully automatic, based on financial and non-financial considerations. And then they will take a decision accordingly. Right? So that was the theme of the question. Let's continue. The first model The first model is the automatic oven, which will cost about rupees 10 lakh. Another model is semi-automatic oven, which will cost rupees 5 lakh 60,000. The annual operating cost, first we'll read it, then we'll make the summary of the numbers. So this paragraph for me, for my financial decision making, is extremely important as it gives me the cost idea. The annual operating cost including depreciation, very important. Now, these small things written in the bracket are the game changers. You should have a habit of reading between the lines. So here it is including depreciation. Remember when we are going to solve the question. The annual operating cost is 40% of acquisition cost and 4 lakh 20 in case of automatic and semi-automatic oven respectively. When we make the summary, we will take a note of all of these. After 3 years of use, automatic oven can be sold at a salvage of rupees 70,000, whereas semi-automatic oven will fetch only rupees 20,000. Automatic oven is even more advanced and equipped with latest technologies to speed up the baking because only ingredients need to be inserted in right proportion and mix. Whereas in semi-automatic machine, some part of the process needs to be performed manually by the workers. So financial and non-financial consideration both have to be considered. Advice: which oven shall Royal Baker acquire? You can ignore taxes. What a breaking news! This is a very important point. Now, because it is written here that ignore taxes, it is written here ignore taxes, which tells us that depreciation will have no impact in this question. Because depreciation, which is a non-cash expenditure, do you remember capital budgeting, cap budget? In capital budgeting, the main impact of depreciation is that it has an impact of savings on taxes. Depreciation is a tax deductible expenditure. So even though it is a non-cash expense, we still include it in our P&L account because it gives us tax benefit. But here they have said you can ignore taxes. So if you have to ignore taxes, can I say the depreciation will lose its importance? So every line is important. Remember, every word is important. That's why I tell you, read the question. With more time, solving will become easier. Words of wisdom. But need to consider the time value of money. Decimal accuracy up to 2 digits is expected. Samjhigadu? Are we clear, everybody? So based on this, now we have to tell which is to be chosen. So Royal Bakers, are you ready? We are coming with our evaluation. So now what you have to do, come on, quickly read the question and then we will immediately start with the solution. First, we will draw the summary and then with the main working. Okay, so are you ready? Sure. Quickly read, everybody. Start. Giving you all 2 minutes. Okay then, so let's start with the summary of the question. Name of the question is Royal Bakers. Name of the question is Royal Bakers. Now here also we have two options. One is automatic, the other is semi-automatic. One is automatic and the other is semi-automatic. Automatic and semi-automatic, and here we write down the particulars. Here we write down the particulars. Sure, let's start. Overall hurdle rate is 12%. Just that's a general info. Continuing. Now, first model is automatic oven, which costs about rupees 10 lakh, and the second one will cost 5,60,000. Oh, there's a huge difference. Approximately 3,40,000, 4,40,000 lower is my semi-automatic. So, first thing that we are going to write down is purchase cost. Purchase cost for automatic is in rupees 10 lakh for automatic and 5,60,000 for semi-automatic. 5,60,000 for semi-automatic. Continuing. The annual operating cost including depreciation is 40% of acquisition cost and 4,20,000 respectively. So second thing that we are going to write down, see, this is not a solution. We are just writing down all that is given in the question. So second is annual operating cost. What is the annual operating cost? And mind you, they have written here including depreciation. How much is that? 40% of acquisition cost in case of automatic. So this will work out to rupees 4 lakhs. Correct? And 4,20,000 for semi-automatic. Let me tick the numbers which are done, things which are done. All right. Okay. After 3 years of use, automatic can be salvaged at. So third is salvage value. Third is salvage value. Again, if you closely observe the question, 70,000 for automatic and 20,000 for semi-automatic. 70,000 for automatic and 70,000 and 20,000 for semi-automatic. Got it? Okay, so 70,000 and 20,000. The automatic oven is more advanced and equipped with latest technologies to speed up the baking because only ingredients need to be inserted in right proportion and mix. Whereas in semi-automatic machines, some part of the process needs to be performed manually by the workers. No problem. So these are the three main things that we have. Correct? Now we will start with our calculation. So we will say that calculation of total cost, and then based on this calculation we will decide which one to choose. Based on this calculation we will decide which one to choose. Correct? So one is automatic, other is semi-automatic. This is our particulars. The first thing that we all know is what is its purchase cost. So that is not write it. Achha, you want to write this one, you can just write it down, no problems. Okay, yes, okay. So here first thing that we will write is what is its purchase cost. What is its purchase cost? So I will write here 10 lakh. You will say, sir, your summary itself is looking like the main thing. That's how the summary should be, right? This is your 4,20,000. Second thing that we need to add is annual cash outflow. Annual cash outflow. But here we will speak of operating cash outflow. Operating cash outflow. See, now the total operating cost is rupees 4 lakh. Total operating cost is rupees 4 lakh. Now, out of that 4 lakh, it also includes depreciation. So it doesn't make sense to include depreciation here. Remember, depreciation will be taken only if tax benefit was there. If tax benefit is not there, then to take depreciation means double counting the purchase cost. Depreciation eventually is what? It is a purchase cost. It is amortization of purchase cost over a period of years. भाई परचेज कॉस्ट और डेप्रीसिएशन एक ही बात होता है बॉस. तो या तो परचेज कॉस्ट लो या डेप्रीसिएशन लो. अपन ने परचेज कॉस्ट ले लिया है. अगर टैक्स बेनिफिट मिलता डेप्रीसिएशन का तो वी वुड हैव टेकन द डेप्रीसिएशन टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ टैक्स बेनिफिट. दैट्स इट. ओनली फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ कैलकुलेटिंग the tax benefit of depreciation. That's it. Other than that, depreciation will not come. Never. Purchase cost is already that only. Very logical, very deep. I hope you are clear. If not, let me know. Chalo, continuing. So now we will say that this cash flow includes depreciation. Correct. So 4 lakh is the total cash flow, but this includes depreciation. So can I say the depreciation amount we will have to deduct? Achha, how much is the depreciation? Let's check out how much is the. So we will write here calculation of depreciation. Calculation of depreciation. How much does that work out to? So we will say original cost OC minus SV salvage value. We will get whatever we get divided by the number of years. So cost to be depreciated divided by number of years. Correct. We will get the depreciation value. We will get the depreciation value. Gotcha, everybody. Chalo. So what is the original cost? What is the original cost? Tell me. Can I say it is rupees 10 lakh here? Okay. What is the salvage value? It is 70,000. It's written here only, no sir. Why are you? Okay. 70,000. So we are left with what? 9,30,000. This is to be depreciated over, I think 3 years is the useful life. 3 years is the life. So divide by 3 years. So 3,10,000 per annum. So 3,10,000 is the depreciation value which will be deducted from here because we want to know the real cash outflow. We want to know the real cash outflow, which is how much? Which is 90,000. Now, obviously, this 90,000 is per annum. But we need it for 3 years. Is per annum. But we need it for 3 years. So, into 3 years and discounted at 12%. Discounted at 12%. Time value of money, macha. Yes or no? Need to consider the time value of money. So, a chartered accountant knows the time value of money. 90,000 for 3 years is not 2,70,000. For a chartered accountant, we will say that 1 divided by 1.12. Correct? Yeah? So, 0.893. Correct? Plus 0.797. See, we may have a rounding of difference, so please bear that much. And 0.712 works out to how much? Let's check. 2.40, is it? So this will be 2.40. So effectively 90,000 into 2.40 is equal to how much? Just a moment. 2,16,000 is the cash flow, total cash flow for 3 years. So calculation of total cost is for 3 years. So total cost, we want to see the total cost during the life cycle of the project, during the life cycle of the machine. That is when we will be able to give an unbiased solution to our client. Gotcha. So cash flow. So we will write here total cash flow operating on operating basis. Same way we will do for my other machine. So how much is that? 5,60,000 less 20,000, 5,40,000 divide by 3 years, 1,80,000. So 1,80,000 so we will write here that out of how much is the, yes, 4,20,000. How much is the annual operating cost is 4,20,000. So we will write here out of 4,20,000, 1,80,000 pertains to depreciation. So 4,20,000 less 1,80,000. So it works out to 2,40,000. It works out to 2,40,000 into 2.4. The annual discounting rate will remain same only, into 2.4, which works out to 5,76,000. How much? 5,76,000. Hey, subjugadu. Are we clear, everybody? Yes or no? Yes, sir. Okay. So 5,76,000. So that is the outflow. Bingo. Okay. Anything else? Yes, sir. Sir, what about the salvage value? That is what we will receive. Correct. At the end of the 3rd year. So that is an inflow. You are right. So let's reduce that inflow. Less cash inflow, and that relates to salvage. Cash inflow, that relates to salvage. So we will say 70,000 into 0.712. We already have it with us. And here we will write down 20,000 into 0.893. So let's see, 70,000 into 0.712. So 49840, and 20,000 into 0.893, 17860. Haha. Got it? Got it? Okay. Anything else? Let me know. Let's check out anything else. So this is done. Okay, with this we complete this question, and we will say that what is our total cash outflow in both the cases, total cost, so to say. So total cost is tell me how much over the life cycle. Remember to write down this, over the life cycle of the asset. Yes, tell me how much it is. 10 lakh plus 2,16,000 plus less 49840. So it is 11,66,160 approximately. See, there would be a rounding of difference, so chutta maaf. Okay, 4,20,000 plus 5,76,000 minus 1,760. That a calculation error. Sorry, this is 5,60,000. Yeah, so 5,60,000, 5,76,000 minus 1,780. 11 lakh 18,140. So semi-automatic is better, I guess, right? Sorry. I need some tea, it seems. 0.712. Yeah. Just a moment. Keep going, boy. So 20,000 into 0.712 is 14240. Recalculations gives me 11,21,760. 11,21,760, and we will, based on the cost scenario, we will opt for the winner is semi-automatic. Semi-automatic is the winner. We will tell our client on a total cost basis over the life cycle of the assets, semi-automatic is what you should purchase. But is our decision based only on financial aspects, or it takes into account the non-financial as well? So definitely takes into account the non-financial as well. I know that. So please, you have to do one thing. Quickly copy this down, and then we will answer the non-financial part as well. So see, what is the requirement of the question? Advise which oven shall Royal Baker acquire? So we will say that Royal Baker should ideally acquire semi-automatic on financial terms. Non-financial, let us evaluate, and then the company will have to take a informed decision. Our job is to give the company with all the numbers, non-financial things, everything possible. Then final decision will have to be taken by the director of the company. Please everyone, take your time for 2 minutes. Copy it up. Are we done? Okay, so here it is. If you've not written it, pause the video, recheck the video, and you can write it down. Not a problem. Chalo. So now let's discuss the non-financial factors which are also equally important while answering the questions. Remember, equally important are these non-financial factors. Let's try and understand the first non-financial factor which can be thought of. Now, if you are going for semi-automatic, then see, semi means partially it is automatic, partially it is manual. Automatic means perfection, fully automatic. So can I say that finishing of the cake can become an issue? Finishing of the cake can become an issue, right? Righty? In semi-automatic, the finishing may not be as precise as compared to what it can be otherwise. Correcta? Okay. Second, after finishing of the cake, second, what else? Space wise, can I say space to be utilized is same? Space is same, so not same. So that cannot be a factor, frankly speaking, because both are going to take the same space. So speed can be an issue. Now speed is very important point. Why? Because Mr. Das is known. Mr. Das is known for the speediness of the cake. Mr. Das is known for the speediness. See, Royal Baker is known for fast service. So if your semi-automatic is not speedy enough, then it doesn't make sense to go for semi-automatic, because then you are losing out to one of your major important points. Correct? That is. So speed is important. Detection of defects. How well is the detection of defect in both the cases? We'll have to check. But according to me, in automatic cases, the detection of defects will be more particular as compared to semi-automatic. So I feel the non-financial factors are weighing down in favor of fully automatic. Right? Okay. Then we can have one more point of customization. See here, according to me, in finishing, automatic will win. In space, same. In speed, automatic should win. Detection of defects, automatic. But in customization, I feel that semi-automatic will win. Why so? Because in semi-automatic there is manual scope also. So in case you need to specifically customize something based on what the customer wants, then that is possible in semi-automatic. Right? So semi-automatic can be a front runner for customization. Achha, manpower usage may be higher in semi-automatic. Now since we have less space, so we need less people around because they will occupy space otherwise. So again your automatic will have a higher weightage as compared to semi-automatic. What say guys? Okay, and then lastly, there can be a point of power consumption and availability. Here I feel that semi-automatic will win, because in power consumption, I guess automatic will consume more power as compared to your semi-automatic. Okay, so here, okay, I'll write down semi-automatic for this one. So I think it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2. So obviously automatic wins. So automatic winner for non-financial factor, semi-automatic winner for financial factor. We have given all the info that we had, calculations, understanding. Now it's up to the management to decide what they would want to choose. Right? Okay, chalo. So you want to write this down, you can write this down. Yeah, similar points are also discussed by ICAI. So let's come to that. Here we are at the solution. So here this, I think, cost comparison is already done from our end. Correct? Okay. Now advice. See, in terms of this, there is a saving of 44,500. I think we've not written here. We can write this here that 1166,160 minus 1121,760. So 44,400 in my calculation. 100 rupees. Please don't bother too much for it. All right. So 44,400. Okay. Now non-financial factors. What are they? Finishing of baked products, the look and the taste will be better in automatic. So which is an important feature for bakery. So it's important for us to take that into account. It is a key consideration. Manpower, skilled labor. Now here, in order to run automatic, you may need a skill level. But at least if automatic is there, less people will be required. So that will be better, right? Next is space. Royal Baker is located in the center of the city where space has a huge cost, and Royal Baker is running out of space. So as we discussed that either of the cases, I think sizes are similar sizes, so should not be a problem. Possibly the automatic will consume a lesser space. Power consumption and availability. It is presumed that it is already included in annual operating cost, so that is not a big deal to matter about. Customization. In case of cakes, customization today, though, so many cakes are available. Like this pinata cake is there, and that's then that you remove and all that chocolate flows. I don't know what all cakes have come. In each case, I'm more concerned with the eating part. So that is also there. You can just go through this. Not really a big deal of difficulty in understanding this. And as far as explanation is concerned, I've already given you all when I was doing this. Speed. Royal Baker is known for fast service, and Mr. Das wishes to be true to the tagline: "Close your eyes and you get what you want." The automatic oven is more advanced and equipped with latest technologies to speed up production. Think about it. Okay. Detection of defect. If speed thrills, then it kills too. I see AI is going to the next level. This is a logo. This tagline, punchline is used by RTO for drunken drivers. Speed thrills but kills is what is used in strategic cost management by ICAI. Wow. If speed thrills, then it kills too. In case of bakery, rework and reprocessing is hardly possible. Even if it is possible, it is at a huge cost. Hence, it is essential to keep vigilant control over the quality and detection of defect at earliest stage. In semi-automatic oven, there is the scope of removing the material after stage, and improvisation can be done. So, according to them, detection of defects, the weightage goes to semi-automatic. Anyways, overall, this is how the criteria looks like. Okay, so I hope we are done. We just write down these main points, and the theory what we've discussed is already written here also. You can go through that as well. With this, we complete this question as well. So slowly and steadily, we are mounting over to our destination, and I'm sure each one of us will reach there with all positivity. Thank you so much, guys. I hope we are clear. Okay then, time to say hasta la vista, guys. Thanks a lot for joining in again, and the series will go on. Keep sharing your thoughts, likes, comments. Rocks. Let's rock SCMP with an exemption minimum. Please give me a promise. Thank you so much. CS Sankalp Kanstia signing off.